What's up, everyone? Welcome in to our first seasonal edition of the Denver Sports Podcast. We are back with more Denver Sports Podcast this year. I am your host, Christian Saez. Pinch hitting for us today, the man himself, D-Line. Appreciate you stepping in, man. Is this the earliest you've ever talked about Nuggets?
In the year or in the day?
In the day.
Well, usually our shows go past midnight, so
Yeah,
I don't know how technical we want to get here. But as far as like when I've gone to sleep and then woken back up, absolutely.
Yeah, this is an early one for you. I appreciate you stepping in. We've got a great show lined up for you guys today. We get to talk all about the Denver Nuggets, the expectations, the hopes, the dreams. We get to dive behind the scenes a little bit from your guys' new documentary. Get to take a look behind everything that went on behind all of the documentary stuff, the production. That was a super cool thing. And also at the end of the show, we will be debating the greatest comeback in Colorado sports history. I know. It's everything Denver sports. That's what the Denver Sports Podcast is all about.
Wow.
I know.
I'm tingling.
I'm excited to be back. I have goosebumps. Maybe it's because I'm cold, but
it is very
goosebumpy.
cold. Also, as you mentioned, very early.
It is early. It is early. We're still waking up here. Hopefully you guys are waking up. It's a little matinee Denver Nuggets action that we have here today. Last official day before we get to see the Nuggets play a regular season game. They get prime time tomorrow night. First of all, what's just your overall feelings? Do you have the like preseason jitters a day before the season starts, or are you just ready to go?
It's weird because the season started yesterday. Like that, all the pomp and circumstance happened. The return to NBC, the brand new Amazon product, like everything is happening. And the Nuggets don't play for like another. They don't even play till tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of obnoxious. Honestly, it's like we're in this limbo state where it feels like the season kind of started. I mean, we've been like in it for now. I mean, like we never get out of it, but. You know, ever since preseason started and training camp, it's kind of felt like, all right, like enough. Like there's so much. Like I'm ready. Like, can we just please do this already?
Preseason takes forever, man. It feels like it never ends, and it's just. I was actually talking to a buddy of mine who was talking about betting on preseason games, and I'm like, "What kind of sicko are you, man? Like, who bets on the preseason?"
Were you talking to Dev?
Yeah, no, it wasn't Dev, but that's crazy, man. That's wild.
Well, we
wild
have
stuff.
we have our segment where in the pregame it's just we go down the list, and the last segment is always the betting portion, and so then we're like, "All right, Dev, what do you think about this preseason game?" And then he has to give like some rationale based on absolutely. We're like, "What?"
It's just guessing. You're just throwing things at the
he's
wall.
like, "Oh, there's no way they're going to win by that much," and you're like, "Are you sure? Like, do you even know who they are at a certain point?"
Just a bunch of random names. You did mention we did get to see the new. Or return of the NBA on NBC. From a design perspective, I don't want to dive too deep into the design stuff here, but you're a design guy. What were your thoughts on all of the logos, the nostalgia? Did you think that NBC did a good job kind of debuting that last night?
Well, it's a great question. I didn't watch it, but
I'm sure you heard of it.
I do know they made a big deal about the return of the re-rise of Round Ball Rock, which everybody is... Round Ball Rock is like this thing that everybody like uses as a benchmark for when that's when the NBA used to be great again. You know, we're trying to make it great again.
Nostalgia, man.
It's nostalgia. It's like the most overblown thing that there is. Like everybody's love for Round Ball Rock. You know, I find it to be a little bit like ridiculous, honestly. But my complaint always with the NBA is that they do not really honor their heritage, their history. They sort of have this like forward-facing digital throwaway. I don't know if you caught Adam Silver came out and said when he was asked about all of the different streaming platforms that one would need to be subscribed to be actually able to catch all of the NBA products. And to which he replied, you know, they can watch clips on social. That's kind of like the way that he looks at it, is that the games don't matter. It's really a league made up of highlights and social clips. So that's, in my opinion, bad. That's a bad approach. So from that standpoint, I do like a return to the, kind of a coming back home. You remember, at least I do, when I was a kid, and you'd have matinee games on just regular network television, NBC, and it was sort of built into what it was, or to the national sports landscape and what it is to be a sports fan, just in sort of a non having to get specific and buy a streaming package and like seek out the content kind of way.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like it's just sort of a passive participant in the larger sports narrative that is the United States. So from that standpoint, I think it's great. I don't know how it actually plays out, but to your larger point, like anytime that you are embracing your heritage, and it's the NBA, it's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, there's so much nostalgia already built up within the NBA. And, I saw Chad in the chat say, Bill Walton and Costas used to be pretty good. Mike Tirico was on the call last night. Just having a classic voice like that too, to accent, to complement everything was great. So it was fun to see the NBA back actually with real basketball last night. That was good to watch, and a great game as well. But tomorrow we get to see the Nuggets for the first time. And I'm going to throw you this first kind of general question. If you could describe the Nuggets team in one word going into their opener tomorrow, what would it be?
Reloaded.
Okay.
The Nuggets have been reloaded. The Nuggets have been retooled. The Nuggets have been the story of the offseason, obviously, coming out of the end of last year was they fired their coach with 3 games before the playoffs. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. Somehow it kind of worked.
Yeah.
They made it through the first round. And by all rights, if you ask me, I still think that they should have beat the Thunder. They had them on the ropes in both games 5 and 6. They were leading in the fourth quarter. Had they won either of those games, they would have advanced. They couldn't do it because they rode their superstars too long. They didn't give Nikola Jokic or Jamal Murray a rest. So they played them the entire fourth quarter. Both times they wore down. And then in game 7, it was just sort of a fait accompli. Like Aaron Gordon's injury flared back up. There were just like a lot of reasons that it fell apart. But point being, they were on the precipice. And had they won that series, I mean, there's really no reason they couldn't have gone the full distance in my view. This offseason, they officially hire who was the interim coach, and David Adelman, somebody who's been with the team for a really long time in a assistant coach capacity, but now he's been given the reins. He's the son of a coach, so he's really been around basketball his entire life. And, by all accounts, he's really more of a thinking man's coach. He's more of a tactician. He's more of sort of a creative mind when it comes to just a traditional way about going about, putting his basketball team out there, what lineups to roll out, things like that, defensive schemes. It's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. But the reloaded part is that they then also went and they made a major trade, trading Michael Porter Jr. to the Brooklyn Nets and getting Cam Johnson in return. A lot of people think that those players are really similar in a lot of ways. They are, if you just take a step back and look at them. They're both like really tall. They can either play the 3 or the 4, but they're tall forwards that are that shoot the ball at a high clip. It's the thought is that Cam Johnson is more of a detail oriented, sort of a thinking player, more so than Michael Porter Jr., who's just sort of a flamethrower and a 3-point specialist. So you bring that into the fold with a player like Nikola Jokic and some of the other starters. It feels like a great fit, like a really seamless fit. We'll see how that plays out. But then the real retooling happens on the bench. They pick up Valanciunas.
Huge.
Big Val, which somehow they traded Dario Saric for Valanciunas straight up. It's the craziest thing. I have no idea how they pulled this off.
There was a lot of legal stuff that went on behind the scenes. It's like contractual stuff.
Yes, but even just without that, just the very notion that they were able to just flip Dario Saric, who is an absolute zero for the Denver Nuggets, into a very viable backup in Valanciunas Jonas Valanciunas is like unthinkable. So he comes in. That's already a massive upgrade. The backup five has been forever a place of woe and misery for the Denver Nuggets. And hopefully this is now where they feel comfortable giving Nikola Jokic time on the bench to not do what they did in the playoffs, which is just wear him down in the entire fourth quarter. They're actually able to give him some time off. They sign Tim Hardaway Jr. On a vet minimum, which is another crazy thing. He had an excellent year last year, and he was in a place where he was able to really dictate his future. He could sort of pick where he wanted to go because his contract is so low and because he has, he offers so much. He's an excellent shooter. And he picked the Denver Nuggets. He decided to come to the Denver Nuggets because of the outlook of the team. They also,
Bruce Brown.
They also re-signed Bruce Brown, Brucey B. Obviously, we all know about him and his impact in the playoffs in 2023. He really was the deciding factor in a few games. And you just kind of look at, so those 3-4, and then who am I missing?
I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay, I covered it all. Yeah. So that, along with the idea, they've re-signed Christian Brown to a massive deal.
Yeah.
Peyton Watson is being put in a position where his role is going to grow. And, it's a real thing when NBA players go through an offseason, they get to practice and work on their craft, that NBA players come back into camp better than they were when they left.
Well, and you don't have to rely so much on development either. The Nuggets, you got some good outings out of Strother last year. I mean, you got to see some of your young players taking a step in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
But now you're in a position where you don't have to rely on that. It's not like you need Strother to be a guy when the postseason comes around because you need the depth there. Like you have depth in other areas that allows you to exceed those expectations. And speaking of expectations, I was actually reading the DNVR Nuggets season preview that you guys just put out. If you guys haven't seen that or read that yet, head over to thednvr.com to check that out. Incredible stuff. But I saw Christian Brown was quoted in that, and he said, quote, "Everything we've ever asked for, we have. Everything everyone in this locker room has ever wanted, we have. Everything we need is inside our locker room right now. Let's make sure it's a no excuse kind of year." When you've got one of your star players saying things like that, the expectations, I mean, can you argue the expectations have never been higher for the Nuggets than coming into tomorrow's game and the start of this season?
I mean, I think the expectations were incredibly high after they won the championship. Sure. Even though they lost a couple players, it still felt like, oh, this team's untouchable. Kind of the same treatment that the Oklahoma City Thunder are enjoying right now. But I would say, I mean, obviously since that time, probably those two seasons, yes, like this is basically as high as it gets.
Yeah.
And I would say with good reason too. It's not just built on hope and faith and just the fact that we have Nikola Jokic. I mean, we have an entirely new front office. That I didn't even mention that outside of the new coach, we have an entirely new front office. Ben Tenzer and John Wallace. We call them Ben Wallace, because they're basically two guys fulfilling. We don't actually know.
They're one and the same. Yeah.
We don't know who the general manager is, but they're two guys. Like John Wallace is the basketball mind. Ben Tenzer is more of the the office. The day to day, the
general management.
Sort of, but neither one of them is known as the general manager. Sure. We didn't really know what to expect out of those two, and they just absolutely hit home run after home run in this offseason. So it's hard not to get excited about what they've put together.
Dude, I'm excited. I'm super excited. Expectations are at an all-time high. We got to pause for our first break. After the break, we take a look behind the new documentary that was put out by the DNVR Nuggets, give you some insight into what it's like to make a documentary, and then we continue our conversation about more Nuggets regular season action coming up next. Well, I want to give some love to our friends right now over at Bet365, because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Every single sport is epic, and basketball is back, baby. That means you can bet on NBA basketball starting yesterday, really, with the start of the NBA season. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. You can deposit $10, choose between either a bet and get offer by placing a bet of $5 or more. You can get $150 back in bonus bets, or a first bet safety net offer by placing a bet of up to $1,000. If your qualifying bet loses, you receive a matched refund in bonus bets. And I'm super pumped. I'm super excited for basketball season because the amount of depth that you have in your ability to bet on basketball feels like unlike any other sport, in my opinion.
It is.
I love betting on baseball. You've got all those random little stats you can bet on, but basketball is a close second for me.
Listen, man, I've never won a football bet in my entire life.
Yeah.
I find it's impossible. Like, as soon as you have like the best, you're like, oh yeah, man, like this guy's definitely going to score a touchdown, and then they just give it to the other guy. And there's like 1 down or 2 downs where it could happen. Basketball is different because your guy gets the ball every time. Like, it's just whether or not he is going to have a good night, and so you at least like start ahead. It's not just all luck or scheme.
It ebbs and it flows. I hope you weren't betting on the Broncos game the other day, or if you bet, you bet on the Broncos.
I did.
You did. Okay.
I bet on the Broncos starting in the second half.
Wow.
I got them, and it kind of makes me mad because I didn't get, like, as far as where the odds went, I got it as low good odds. I got them at plus 220.
Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad.
I won.
It could have been more. Could have
been more, man.
Yeah.
You just can't lose faith. So I've won 1 football bet, I guess I should say.
Yeah, a little crazy stuff going on. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. See why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Well, I also got to give a huge shout out to our friends over at Christie Sports because the winter ski and snowboard season is right around the corner. I'm actually starting to plan for that as we speak. And I was looking at maybe buying some new skis, and man, I don't know if you guys have looked at buying skis. It can be super expensive when you want to go out and buy skis. The cool thing about Christie Sports is you can get ski and snowboard rentals for a great price, and that can last you all season long. They can get you the deals that you want so that you can go up on the mountain. Maybe you don't go skiing every single day. Maybe you're like me. You just like to go a couple times a year, maybe a couple times every winter. You get a day pass or something like that. You don't need to invest in the skis, buying new skis. Well, use Christie Sports because renting skis and snowboards is perfect with Christie Sports. It's what they do best. And you can go check out a Christie Sports anywhere here in the Denver area or up in the mountains and go pick up some skis, snowboards. You can get 5-day rentals, 3-day rentals, kids rentals. They've got a ton of great rental perks. And so, check them out. Get 20% off your season rentals when you book online at the link in the comments and use code DNVR20. Must book season rentals online to get the discount. Book by 11/23. Outside is better with expert service and advice in every store. Are you going to be heading out on the mountain?
I was just going to ask you. I used to go all the time. I don't think my legs are up for it anymore.
Yeah, it is the waking up after skiing or snowboarding for the first time the next day is brutal. I feel like I get hit by a train.
I love snowboarding. Like, I absolutely love it. It's like there's that feeling of like it's like if you get to a point where you're not just worried about making the turn, but you just like
just gliding.
It's like it becomes like soulful. You're like connecting with the mountain. You can like really get to a good place with skiing and snowboarding. But right now,
protect those knees, man.
Bro, it's just like my thighs would just be screaming the entire time.
Tough. I'll probably go out a couple times this year, but
I hate how out of shape I am. I used to be the man.
Yeah. Well, skiing will get you there.
Now I'm barely a boy.
Skiing will get you there, man. It's a good workout.
I'm the worst.
Hey, you guys just did a really cool thing with the DNVR Nuggets. You put out a brand new first of its kind documentary. And we had the premiere downstairs on Monday. It was incredible. Some of you might have already seen it. If you haven't, though, we're going to show a quick highlight trailer of the video, and then let's do a little behind the scenes action. Let's show this clip. This is the new Nuggets documentary coming out.
The next chapter.
The Nuggets looked like they had everything they needed to go back-to-back, maybe get 2 of 3.
In both seasons, they were good enough to go further, but it just left you wanting more.
They were up 20 points in the second half of Game 7 against Minnesota. They were up in Games 4 and 5 in the fourth quarter against OKC.
It was a rough season. Michael Malone got fired. Calvin Booth got fired. The culture was in the dumps.
They squandered an opportunity to get another championship, and I think that they would have had that if they were all on the same page last year.
It was so obvious to me last year from talking to people, just observing camp, observing the lead up to the season. Something was off.
I've literally never seen anything like it. I was actually very impressed that the team was able to rally and make a very legitimate push.
Having everyone rowing in the same direction is as big a part of winning a title as just assembling the roster is. And in 2023, they had that.
They had already got to the top of the mountaintop, and I think once you get there, it's exhausting. You understand what it's like to be chased at all times.
This year, this season, I sense they have that same belief that they had in 2023, though.
This is truly the next chapter for this Denver Nuggets team. More changes than we've ever seen in the Jokic era.
I think that it's new. And anytime that you get something new, that means that everyone else is having to adapt.
Everybody's excited. The team has been connected all summer long.
The guys have been together long before training camp started.
There's just a completely different feel to this team.
The guys want to be here.
They're together. You see them in workouts together. You see them competing against each other, hanging out, spending time together.
They sense the moment. They sense the opportunity.
So, D-Line, it sounds like you may have coined the phrase, the next chapter, because I heard you were the one who said it there, and you watched the documentary.
I had the titular line.
You did. Was that something you planned, or was that off the cuff?
It was, so we were kind of bandying about so every time that we go into a season, we try to give it a theme.
Yeah.
We try, in years past, it was like the next step. We don't skip steps. We had sort of a flowing narrative we were working with. I don't know that I said it necessarily because I was trying to have the titular line, but to me, that's what this is. Like it is, and I keep saying this, it's the next chapter. And what is it, the next chapter? And in the book of Jokic, we're all witnessing the book of Jokic. I consider myself to be a disciple, and I'm walking around and keeping track of the stories that need to be retold later, and obviously put into a deeply religious tome that we'll all study and worship later on. But this is the next chapter in that he has first time in his Nuggets tenure, he's had a brand new coach. First time in Nuggets tenure, he has the backup center. It's just, there's a lot of things where you can look at this and be like, okay, it's the same story, but it is a brand new chapter. This is a clean break. And a lot of things are the same, but a lot of things are different.
And you have the frustrations of feeling like you came up short the last couple of years.
Exactly.
And so it's like you're coming into this expecting angry Jokic. You're coming into this expecting these Nuggets to be playing with a chip on their shoulder.
Yes.
And I agree. It's worth documenting. I mean, DNVR Nuggets, you guys have always done, unique storytelling things. You had a book that came out, what was the inspiration to do a documentary, to choose a documentary as the medium in which you wanted to tell this story?
Well, we got our feet wet the year, I can't remember what year it was, if they'd won the championship or not, but we went to Serbia. And we followed our trip there and, able to get sort of the backstory and what it is about that part of the world that keeps producing all these incredible basketball players. And specifically, where did this guy, Nikola Jokic, come from? He's like nobody we've ever seen. We don't really understand his psychology. Why is he the way that he is? And so getting that sort of in our world, like this idea that we could create something like this, especially, I should say the first reason is because we work with such an unbelievably talented person in Ryan Green, who's able to put all this together. He is, he's there all the time at practices. He's there all the time behind the scenes. He goes to every game. So he has this huge library of material that he's just been capturing over time. And he's just so good at what he does, like putting it together, getting the music to play. Just the way that he's able to weave a narrative. And then Adam, who is, the lead of the DNVR Nuggets beat, that's kind of in his bones too. He is a storyteller. One of the interesting things about what it is that the DNVR Nuggets are is that I don't think anybody outside, maybe vote, like nobody went to school to become a journalist. Like Adam is a philosophy major. I'm an art major. It's like everybody's kind of
storytelling in different ways, but yes. I get what you're saying.
Like point being is like we kind of look at it in a different way than has been traditionally done, at least from my knowledge and about the Denver Nuggets. So having this idea of like, okay, cool, we're going to start to document this. We're going to go to training camp. We're going to go out to San Diego. It gives us an opportunity to connect with the team and kind of see, what's going on. And we all feel pretty strongly that this could be a year that is worth documenting.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's be there at the beginning so that if it makes sense and we're there at the end, we have a full circle sort of story that we can pull upon and we can make even bigger than it is.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I like the most about the documentary is it felt like it flowed really naturally through the different topics. It starts talking about the coaching situation. It starts, and it kind of progresses from there. Was there like a script that you guys kind of went off with, like, questions and stuff like that? Or was that just like RG coming up with questions and asking? I mean, like how did the storyboard of the documentary flow?
So Adam wrote, a list of questions, and then each one of us separately sat down with RG in a different location. Like none of us knew what the other said. It was really, including Adam, when it came time for us to just go through and answer these questions, I was set up in here. I just, answered each question. I didn't really have any prep time. A lot like this show, just kind of going by, winging it.
Off the cuff, man. off the cuff.
Just living my life off the cuff. And so everybody answered their questions, and then we went out to San Diego. We all kind of shared our thoughts, kind of learned even more about the team. We got to meet Cam Johnson. We got to hang out with, like the front office. We got to get even more insight into the way that the team themselves are thinking about this season. But yeah, it just started from a questionnaire that each one of us sat down and answered. And then after that, Adam and RG went through and cut it up and created the story.
Well, last question on the documentary side of things. You've done a lot of really cool stuff in your time at DNVR.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
You've had some cool experiences.
Okay.
Where does making a documentary rank among your coolest experiences at DNVR?
Well, I'll say I was not that involved in the making of the documentary.
Sure. But you were there. You're on the poster.
I was literally here. I was like, if you think about what you're doing right now, that was what I did for the documentary. I just sat down and answered questions about the Denver Nuggets. It's one of the coolest things to look at after the fact and watch. It's cool. And then we did as you mentioned, we did it in the bar, showed it, and then did a Q&A afterwards, which was super cool. To just see a lot of familiar faces and new faces and hear how the Nuggets in general and DNVR sort of intersect in people's lives and what it means. So that was really awesome and impactful. But I mean, I don't know. We keep doing awesome stuff.
I know.
We just keep doing really cool things. And I'm numb to it a little bit, which is disgusting to say. And so life really doesn't have a lot of meaning for me anymore. But, I would say the best thing I've ever done is this podcast with you right now.
Oh, that's so kind of you. So kind of you.
I'm having the time of my life. I'm having the time of my life.
I spent all summer talking about the Colorado Rockies, and now I get to talk about the Denver Nuggets. And, it's a little change in pace for me.
So you're a Gonzaga guy.
I am a Gonzaga guy.
Give me your perspective on Julian Strawther.
Strawther's a dog, man.
Yeah.
I was so glad that Nuggets Nation got to witness a little taste of what he could be. He's still young. He still has to continue to develop. But to see him come to life last year in the playoffs was everything that I've got to experience with him at Gonzaga, because he was clutch with Gonzaga. He was there when they made it to the national championship. I look at Julian Strawther in the same light as I look at Jalen Suggs, you know, in that same time frame. Chet Holmgren, that's the names that I put him up there with. And obviously those guys, specifically Chet, have more notoriety in the NBA right now. But I think Strawther, if he continues to progress, he's supported by the coaching staff and the players around him, he'll continue to grow.
He's a guy that I have a lot of belief in, but I'm nervous about his opportunity. Because Tim Hardaway Jr. basically came in at his position as a vet, as a proven commodity in this league. But I'm a big believer in Julian Strawther. I've actually seen quite a bit of improvement from him. The craziest thing that I still have to wrap my head around, and I didn't really understand until I started to get closer and closer to the NBA, is these guys do not practice throughout the year. Their travel schedule is such that they don't actually get the opportunity to work on their game and work on their skills. And if they are, it's up against assistant coaches, and it's guys that aren't getting a lot of playing time just sort of stagnate on the bench, and they have to wait for their time. And then when they get their time, it's sort of they have to try and kickstart where they were. And, basketball is one of the reasons like why it's so interesting to me, I never played basketball in any meaningful way, but to me, it's like it represents like in many ways the most like the highest level of human athleticism and skill combined, where you have to sprint back and forth as fast as you can. And then you have to stop and then perform something that requires extreme skill while you're tired. It's so interesting to me. And so there's so much that comes from repetition, and you build that skill up and like you fine tune it and hone it. And so a guy like Strother, I just think he's wildly talented. The one thing that, has been a knock against him the entire time that he's been here. First off, he keeps getting injured, which has not helped his case.
Yeah, it never helps.
But then second off is like he just comes in and fouls immediately every time. Like he comes in, gets 2 fouls in like 2 minutes, and you're like, God damn it!
I know.
Come on, man! Like, come on, man!
nothing to kill a drive quicker than a foul.
Come on, man!
I will say with Strother, he has done a good job. He's made a career out of understanding his role. And so being someone, and we saw it last year, that can come off the bench, you're not the superstar, you're not there to be the superstar, but you can fill your minutes in a productive way. He did that at Gonzaga. I think he'll continue to do that with the Nuggets. So I'm excited to see him take hopefully a couple more steps forward here this season for the Nuggets. But we got to pause for our next break of the show. After the break, we've got some more Nuggets conversation coming up. Who's the biggest X factor for the Nuggets this year?
I think it's you. Wait till the break.
Yeah, we'll get on that here in just a moment. Well, I want to give some love to our friends over at Game Time, because Game Time is the best place to get Nuggets tickets. It's also the best place to get Avs tickets, Broncos tickets, really anywhere you plan to go. I know you're a Nuggets guy. Are you planning to go out to any Avs games this year?
I'll tell you, man, people don't know this, or maybe they do if they've heard me talk before. I was as big of an Avalanche fan as I am currently a Nuggets fan.
I love that.
Before I fell into this world of the Nuggets. Like this was
absolutely love that.
Not a plan. So I love hockey.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be out at a handful of Avs games this season. Avs are in full swing right now, and you got to use that Game Time app to get all of your NHL tickets, because Game Time, the app, makes it easier and better than ever to get the tickets that you want for the prices that are better than the competitors. Because as it gets closer and closer to whether it be puck drop or tip off or first pitch, whatever game you're going to, with the Game Time app, it gets cheaper and cheaper as you get closer to that opening seconds. And the app has so many cool features like seat views, lowest price guarantee, zone deals, so many cool things. So take the guesswork out of buying NFL or NHL tickets, I should say, with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use code DNVR for $20 off. Tap Ticket Go. Download the Game Time app today. Also, got to give some love to our friends over at Toyota, because Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. It feels like the official vehicle of Colorado. I mean, you can't go anywhere without
unofficial,
seeing,
but
unofficial,
kind of official.
Kind of official.
A little official. It's borderline official.
Yeah. So those of you who have watched my Rocky show over the summer, I just got a brand new 2024 or so about a year old 2024 RAV4. It has been an absolute blast to drive. You know that new car feeling when you get in a new car. The smells good. It feels good. It looks good. That's the vibes, man. Toyota is incredible. Whether you're like me and you like getting up into the country and getting out into nature a little bit, you can go with a RAV4, you can go with a Highlander, you can go with a one of the trucks. They've got all-wheel drive options for you, or maybe if you want to go more the hybrid route, the RAV4, they have options that are the hybrid route as well. If you like going on road trips, Toyota has so many different choices, so many things to choose from. I got to say, my favorite Toyota though is the DNVR decked out Toyota Tundra. I'm a little jealous that Spencer gets to drive that thing around.
Is he living in that thing?
He might be. He might be.
I feel like every time I see it, it's just like a little bit more Spencer.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was like a promotional car, but now I'm like,
it's Spencer's car now.
Now I'm like checking the back to see if he's got like a change of clothes and stuff in there. Like,
does he have some lumber in the bed of the truck? Yeah.
It just, you know what I mean? Like it's getting a little bit suspect, to be honest. But I mean, like you're right. It looks great.
It's a great
except
truck.
for Spencer's in it, but that's not Toyota's fault.
Yeah, that's not Toyota's fault. No matter who drives it, Toyota's a great car. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson's Toyota Eastern Aurora, and Stevenson's Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. All right, back here on the Denver Sports Podcast. If you're not familiar, Christian Saez, D-line, you know who D-line is. Yeah. We're talking a little Nuggets basketball here in the conversation. First official Denver Sports Podcast of the season, and we get to start it off with some Nuggets talk. Nothing better.
Man, listen, like I like you. You
like me? Thank you. That's so kind of you.
There was a comma. There was a second comma that ended that. Maybe I'll write this out.
It's a quiet comma.
Like you, I talk about the same team every day. You talk about the Rockies every day. Yeah. And it's like, especially in the offseason, you're like, you think about them in the abstract. And then when you actually, it's like, there's so many things that I think that the Denver Nuggets are, and I cannot wait to see what the Denver Nuggets actually are. We've not seen, obviously, them play a full game with this new complement of players to see what the rotations are going to look like, what the bench is going to look like. We don't know if Jamal Murray is going to be sort of de facto running the bench unit via a stagger where he comes off early in the first quarter and then he gets put back in when the rest of the starters leave so that he's able to be the point guard for the bench unit. We don't know if Peyton Watson is going to be running the bench unit. The one thing that we really don't know is what the point guard for the bench is going to look like. So there's so many questions. Even though we've been around this team, we've listened to all the conversations, we've talked to the players. There's just something that you cannot get until the lights are bright and it actually starts to count.
You start getting answers. Everything's speculative until you get the first game.
Yes.
And then you get the answers that you hopefully have been waiting for, whether they're good or bad. And then if they're bad, you react to it. If they're good, you react in a different way, right? Like you just get
I promise to react.
Yeah, I promise to react. We at DNVR can promise you that we will be reacting to
You will get
everything.
a reaction out of me. That I promise. But yeah, I can't wait, man. I just absolutely can't wait because the vibes are as high as they could possibly be right now. It just is pure optimism. Everything feels like it's on the right track. There's really nothing outside of that backup one where you can point to and say, I don't feel like they've addressed this, or this is still a gaping hole, or like I don't know how they're going to do this. Like they can't just play Nikola Jokic 60 minutes a game, even though they'd like to. Or what is it, 48 minutes? I don't even, how long is a
Something
basketball
like that.
game?
It's a long time.
Can somebody fact check me?
How many minutes are involved in this?
Anyway, yeah, I can't wait, man. I just can't wait.
Okay, I'm glad that you're super excited. I am as well. I do remember, I look back on last season and any basketball season that is, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
There are plenty of times, I remember doing plenty of TDSPs. I remember doing a TDSP one week where the conversation was, the Nuggets are going to the finals and no one can stop us.
Yeah.
And then the next week was, are we even going to make the playoffs this year? Like, it is such a roller coaster.
Also,
what's the message that you could tell yourself that, like, if there's something you can give your future self that's going to at some point be absolutely down bad about this team, what's that message going to be to kind of keep yourself level-headed through a long season?
First off, it's impossible.
Yeah, it is
but
impossible.
there are lessons to be learned by following a long form sport like baseball, like basketball and hockey. Lessons you do not learn by watching football, because football is like every game is the biggest thing because there are so few, and one game lead means everything. And but in basketball, it's like you lose and there's another game in 2 days. And in baseball, there's literally a game the next day. It's like there's some part of it, it's like you want to be all consumed by it. You want to allow your emotions to get the better of you and just go with wherever the season takes you, because that's why sports are fun. It's like not fun. To me, it's like it's not fun or meaningful, or it doesn't even make sense to be logical and level-headed about sports. Like if you're going to be logical and level-headed about something, you should just like watch documentaries or
Golf, maybe?
Not even golf, dude. It's like
golf feels a little more logical.
But golf is, like sports are stupid if you take 4 steps back. It's just like a way to express your emotion, to put faith in something that you have nothing to do with, to put out hypotheses that come back and are proven false or true. So I have no advice for my future self. I don't have any advice for anyone. Just don't yell at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't yell at us if things go poorly.
Well,
it's not, we've obviously set the bar very high with our documentary we put out, and just like the vibes we're putting out in general, they're all very real. Like I do feel we're never blowing any smoke up anybody's anything when we come into these seasons and say what we're thinking. I mean, hope springs eternal when it comes to sports. If not, then what are we doing? But it just feels so real. But it might, if it's not real, like, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. That's the point.
Yeah. If there's a message I had to give.
It might be my fault.
It might be, but we'll try to look past that. If there's a message I had to give on just the ups and downs of the season, ride the wave, man.
Ride it.
Ride the freaking wave. Because that's the beauty of sports, right? Our job as fans, as analysts, as just human beings, is to engage in the emotional capacity of what you feel in any given moment. So if the Nuggets look like the best team in the NBA, I see people saying, the Nuggets better beat Minnesota next week, or, Golden State's a good team. Like, I might be crashing out if they lose. Like, do that. Absolutely. If the Nuggets go get blown out on day one tomorrow, be down in the dumps. Feel like absolute crap about yourself. But if the Nuggets are putting up huge numbers and Jokic looks unstoppable like he normally does, then live in that euphoria, man. I want to feel all the feelings of this season, and that's the beauty of it. And the Nuggets are a good basketball team, so we know what the expectations are. You know what the end goal is. Feel all your feelings.
Yes.
Enjoy the season. Hate the season. Feel whatever you need to feel. But no matter what, the NBA season is back tomorrow.
We did our very first watch along, to my knowledge, the opening game of the season, the 2023 season that they won the championship.
Yeah.
And they got their doors blown off by the Utah Jazz. It was absolutely miserable. We were all completely crashing out. We were like, oh my God, we've lied to ourselves again. What are we doing? They lost by like 20 points to the Utah Jazz, who weren't even good. So you're right, ride the wave, but also keep in the back of your mind that there are a lot of games. There's a lot.
It's a long season, man.
And yes, like as Felix says, can we not overreact to a bad Murray game and yell trade him? I would love that.
Yeah,
it would just be great. It's not possible. It can't happen. But the funny thing too is, like, as seasons stretch on, you get like different factions in the chat every night. There's like there was the Fire Malone people, which I guess they ended up being right. They won. Yeah. They won that war. There's the Trade Murray people. There's this guy. I mean, it's so you just see the battle lines that are being drawn. It's all part of the fun. But can we just keep it? Can you just be nice to me? Yeah. Again, like
take a deep breath before you react.
Just be nice to me. I don't care what you do to each other. Be nice to me, D-line.
Yeah. Well, I did promise that we would talk about who is the X factor for the Nuggets this season. We got to pause just for a moment for our last break of the show. After that, who is the X factor for the Nuggets season? The answer coming up after the break.
Stay tuned.
All right, simple enough. Who's the X factor, D-line?
To me, the X factor is Cam Johnson.
Okay, I like that. I was going the same way. Cam
Johnson is listen, you're talking about a starting five that was good enough to get it done. You know, he's the only new addition to he basically takes the place that KCP served, sort of. That it's a new guy that's coming into the fold that needs to mesh with these guys. I mean, basically everyone needs to learn how to mesh with Jokic and Murray. You can add Aaron Gordon into that because he's so pivotal. And now Christian Brown has last year took such a step up. He finished 4th in most improved player voting. And he had a case to be the guy, to be honest. Cam Johnson, to this point in the preseason, has not been knocking down his shots. He's been getting wide open shots. Anybody who plays with Nikola Jokic, you're going to get wide open shots just because he's able to bring the defense through his gravity, through everything that he does. People focus on him, and it makes it so that other people are able to spring free. And a lot of times a guy standing in a quarter like Cam Johnson is the beneficiary of that. He's got to knock down shots. He has to. He has to play better defense than we got from Michael Porter Jr. The Nuggets defense last year was bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, it needs to be better. No, it was bad. And that was obviously why in the end, they only won 50 games. It's funny to say only. That's the benchmark for what it is to be a good team in the NBA, a 50-game season. But, they had potential to win so many more.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It really doesn't come down to just him because the starting lineup is such that even if he doesn't perform, there's enough guys that can fill in the gaps to really keep that starting lineup going. So you could look at, the X factor being Jonas Valanciunas being the center of that bench. But I just think it really comes down in basketball, like who are your best five versus our best five, and let's go toe to toe and see who can get it done.
Yeah, I like the defensive improvements from Johnson too. I think there's more depth there. The ability, I feel like, has more potential than what we saw with MPJ. So yeah, I'm going with Johnson as well. I think he's going to be a huge X factor. It's going to take some time, like you said, for him to gel a little bit.
It doesn't take too much time. I mean, like really, it's like
it's natural.
I think, yeah. I to me, it's like he's just got to feel comfortable, and so that's really what it comes down to. He's already playing the right way. It's just he's just not knocking down his shots yet.
I also feel like it's going to take time for everyone to kind of get up and running again, right? Maybe outside of Jokic, like it's going to take a second. It's the first game of the year. We got to give everyone a chance to kind of get their feet underneath them and get moving. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Our last topic of the show, it's Nuggets related, but also kind of spans beyond. This is the Denver Sports Podcast, but we saw one of the craziest comebacks in the history of Colorado the other day with the Denver Broncos and them beating the Giants. You bet on them and won a little bit of money, so that congrats on that. But it brought up the idea of what's some of the craziest comebacks in Colorado sports history. So since we're talking about Nuggets, I'll ask you the question from a Nuggets perspective. In your memory, in Colorado or in Denver Nuggets history, what's the biggest comeback, craziest comeback you can think of for the Nuggets?
Well, for the Nuggets, you think about it not as a game, but in the series. It's in the bubble. They came back from being down 3-1, not once, but twice, in both being improbable. I don't think it had ever happened to that point even one time, and then they did it a second time. And the win against the Clippers was even more improbable than the one against the Jazz. Like, they were dead to rights. There's that famous picture now of that clip of when they cut to the Clippers wives and girlfriends. I don't know if they were married to any of them, but I think they were just guys. They're all girlfriends, but they were like dancing and like it was like over, and they were like, you know, the Nuggets. I think at that point they were down double digits. Yeah, and then just something flipped. What happened was like Paul Millsap got in the face of one of the Morris brothers. I don't even remember which one. And they started jawing, and the Morris brother was like, "Go, take your ass home. Take your ass home." Paul Millsap stands up, gets right in his face, and everything changes. Gary Harris comes back. The defense changes. It was the wildest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, I could still barely believe it, mostly because like that entire year, I think I've wiped from my memory. I think everyone has due to a trauma response of being stuck inside for an entire year.
Yeah, that was wild.
But I mean, like, you can't talk about wild comebacks without talking about those two comebacks, 2 series in a row. Insane.
Yeah, that was insane. I do remember that. That was actually right about when my wife and I moved to Colorado. And so it was like relatively new into our Nuggets watching experience. And that was nuts, man. That was great. Also the value of coming back in that series. Like some of the examples I put on this list, one of them specifically actually happened this season. It meant nothing. It's with the Colorado Rockies, but it meant nothing because the Rockies were the worst team in the history of baseball. But it was a crazy comeback, right? Like that comeback actually meant something. You know, like the Broncos comeback meant something.
Yes.
That one was nuts. If I'm living in Rockies world, 2007 play-in game for the Rockies where they were down 8-6 in the 13th inning. No one expected them to win that game. They came back and won that game. Matt Holliday did touch home plate, and the Rockies went on to the World Series. Like that was, that's a huge comeback.
Do you think he touched it? I mean, he probably got like a little corner, right? Like just like a.
I'm gonna lean on that replay review wasn't good enough back then to dispute.
Every
otherwise.
time I watch it, I'm like.
No, it looks like he doesn't touch it for sure. It definitely looks like he doesn't.
Probably got like a little corner, right?
Yeah,
like a little.
It wasn't enough to overturn it. Even without review back in the day.
Well, for sure. I mean, how are you going to do that? You can't try an upend fade, even though that the refs this last Sunday tried to do exactly that for the Denver Broncos. But whatever. CU Michigan. If you go all the way back to 1994, Bill McCartney's Colorado Buffalo scored 13 unanswered points in the last 4 minutes of that game in Michigan, and Cordell Stewart obviously had his walk off. Hail Mary. Yeah,
I mean, just insane. That one's a huge one. CSU had one as well. I don't know if you'll remember this one. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Or no, the New Mexico
Yeah,
Bowl.
the New Mexico Bowl with
18 straight points.
Yeah. With our main man, whose name I can't remember right now. All of a sudden, the coach. Oh my!
They
God.
played against Mike Leach. I know that. I don't remember who it was for CSU, but
Steve. No, it was. Oh my God! I can't believe I can't remember.
it's gonna
right
bug
now.
you.
It is gonna bug.
John Elway. While you look that up, John Elway. Obviously, John Elway had some crazy comebacks. His rookie season, the one that I remember seeing clips from. John Elway's rookie season, 19-point deficit against the Colts. That was huge. That kind of set the precedent for what John Elway would end up being for the Denver Broncos. So that one was huge. But if you look at that game specifically, John Elway did only complete 9 of 20 with 151 yards. And the Broncos won 21-19.
Jim McElwain.
Jim McElwain. There you go. Attaboy.
I hate myself.
Russell Wilson, who is not on good terms here in Colorado right now. Hasn't been for a while, but he's definitely not helping himself. If you remember back in 2023, he erased a 21-point deficit against Chicago, against the Bears.
Who cares?
I know that is another one. Who cares one. The one that I remember, and again, this holds no weight, absolutely no weight, because the Rockies were the worst team in the history of baseball this year. I don't know if you remember this. It was one of our Friday rooftop top clubs. The Rockies were down 9-0 in the first inning, and came back and won 18-17 or 17-16. I think is what it was.
The messages were flying on the Slack,
dude. That was kind of the craziest game I've ever seen. And again, it meant nothing. There was no weight to that game whatsoever. But just from sheer insanity. I mean, it wasn't like they won 10-9 either. No, it was 17-16. Like the Pirates kept going. And it was just back and forth. It was drunk. That game was absolutely drunk.
I know. It's such a Coors Field game.
It was such a
Coors Field game.
And in a season where the Rockies were an absolute garbage team to watch.
Oh, which season was that?
Just a few days ago, man. It was just a few days ago.
I'm sorry.
It was a nice little fun day. It felt like actual baseball.
I know.
It was so fun.
That was like a little taste. You're like, oh right, like this.
People were like actually on their feet, like cheering and like locked in on every pitch. It felt like Rocktober for a second.
I cannot believe what's happened to baseball in this state. I know. Does it frustrate? So this, by all rights, should be a baseball town. Like anytime
it
there's
is a baseball
anything.
Town. It's just not a baseball.
Without the baseball.
Without the baseball. Yeah.
Everybody I know who grew up here, played baseball, has some connection to baseball. You see if anybody, like if the Rockies do anything, everyone shows up for it. They show up even if the Rockies aren't doing anything because they just like baseball. They like the ambiance. They like the vibe. I mean, Coors Field, obviously a great place to be. But
best
if you
bar in
didn't,
Denver.
But, like Dick's Sporting Good Park could be a great bar in Denver too. But people don't love soccer. So they love baseball. I think baseball.
I think baseball as a sport is an easy sport to consume for the casual fan because it's cheap. You can get into a game at Coors Field for $5.
Yeah.
You don't really even have to watch. You can just drink, hang out with friends. The weather's usually beautiful. I mean, there's so many reasons why it works. And yes, the Rockies set up, the organization sets up Coors Field in a way that is definitely adheres to the fans. But I agree with you. If the Rockies were good, and we all say this here at DNVR,
disgusting.
If the Rockies were good, it would be the most, if the Rockies were in Rocktober, it'd be the biggest thing happening in the month of October at that time. If they were actually in the month of October in postseason baseball.
If we could get to a point where the summer didn't feel like sports Siberia, like we were just walking through the desert with nothing to pay attention to. I used to watch every Rockies game. I
watch every Rockies game.
Degenerate.
It's degenerate is right.
I'm an absolute degenerate. Like if I turn on the television, the first thing I do is look for, like probably everyone here, the first thing I do is go span what sporting event is on. Do I have an interest in it? I have a hard time getting that interested in sports that are not Colorado based.
Fair.
Because I like it when it like means something to me personally. But point being is like I would watch every Rockies game if they made me feel like it was worth doing.
Yeah.
And it's just been so long since I feel like that's even a possibility.
It's crazy. I mean, there's a couple people. We got some sickos that watch our show every single day. Felix in the Toyota chat, he's one of them. Shout out to Felix. I know he watches a lot of Rockies baseball, but it's tough. The product is not there. And, the only thing you can enjoy is, like you said, just going to watch, some casual baseball with friends at a ballpark, But every once in a while, you see some crazy Coors
Every
Field
now and
game.
again, you get a crazy
Baseball's a crazy
comeback.
sport. Yeah.
What if we decided that was the best comeback in Colorado sports history? That the Rockies against the Pirates last season.
Two teams that didn't even come close.
We're like, that was it. That was the best one.
That was the best one. I mean, you could make a strong argument. It could be one of the just sheer craziest comebacks from a predictability, odds, percentage of winning, that kind of thing, the up and downs throughout all of that. I mean, I remember Jake Schwanitz, our CU Buffs guy. He showed up like halfway through the first inning.
Yep.
It's 9-0.
Yeah, dude,
and
that
he's
was
like, it's over. Like, what am I doing here? It's insane. I still think the Broncos, though, given the weight of how important that game was. The Broncos are 5-2 right now. This is a playoff team. They're first in their division, like first in their conference. That comeback was not only insane, but it also held a lot of weight. So shout out to the Broncos.
Yeah, the comeback,
huge win.
Yeah, just from a sheer numbers standpoint, you can't argue that that's as big a comeback has ever been.
40 points in the fourth
as far as like the biggest
whatever.
comeback with like the weighted result of like what it, you look at like the drive, you look at like a lot of things where the situation was such a literal do or die situation to come back in those ways, to be, your back's against the wall. You probably put something like that above what just happened. We'll see how this last game sort of echoes into eternity, but like just from a numbers standpoint, like we were on I was on the watch along, and we were like joking. We're like, all right, all that has to happen is they have to score. Got to get a 3 and out. They got to score again. They got to get 2 2-point conversions. Then they're going to need to get a turnover, probably a pick 6. And then they're going to need to get another 3 and out.
and then maybe.
And then it's going to get interesting if all of those things happen. And somehow all of those things happen.
Literally. Yeah. I mean, we had checked out. I was actually texting my buddy. He had put a pretty good bet on the Giants. He's a diehard Giants fan.
Oh, good.
He had put a pretty intense bet on the Giants money line. And I think he was good. He was set to win some good money if the Giants had just won the game.
I took his money.
And I texted him 15 minutes, it felt like, into the game, like, you're looking pretty good. And then 30 minutes into the game, I'm like, looks like you're going to be a millionaire here pretty soon, buddy. And then I was like, maybe I spoke too soon. And then I texted him again, and I'm like, no, you're a millionaire again. It was back and forth, like that text thread. And then by the end, I'm like, oh my God,
Brendan
how
Vogt
did that happen?
on our very own Nuggets beat, famously from New Jersey.
Yes, famously.
Giants fan.
Tough.
Dude, he started talking smack. We have an ALLCITY Slack channel. We had people from Dallas. Everyone's like, we got Kim Kardashian memes that were just like clowning us. And then, like, I wrote to Brendan, I'm like, bro, it's not over. It's not over, And he's like, yeah, you're right, blah blah blah. But then the second tip ball that turned into a touchdown happened, and I was like, all right, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over. But in my
heart, it was a roller coaster of a game.
It wasn't even a roll. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. The crazy thing, if you contrast the two most recent Bronco games we got, where the Broncos won 13-11.
Yeah,
in London. A game I was at, by the way. We were watching, and by the end, I just felt like the need to apologize to all of the fans across the pond. Like, bro, that's not what football looks like. I can only imagine, like, the people that say that football is slow and boring. After that game, I was like, maybe they have a point. Maybe they're right.
We're not helping it. We're not helping.
But if that had been the game that played, I mean, like, if that was the game that had taken place in London, I feel like there would just be the Broncos would be the London official team, minted forevermore. Like, everyone would be like, this is the most insane sport I've ever seen in my entire life. It was crazy.
You just converted an entire country.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. All right, good stuff, guys. Thank you guys for watching this first 2025, soon to be 2026 edition of the Denver Sports Podcast. This is going to be fun. I think Wednesdays at 11, it seems like that's going to be our time slot. So come hang out with us next week, I should say. And go Nuggets, man.
Go Nuggets.
Going to be fun. Hopefully a good season ahead of us. We'll see you guys next time right here on the Denver Sports Podcast.
We all city like the mayor.